Hello everybody and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting the Link to the Past randomizer Crosskeys Tournament 2021. We have Swiss Round 7 for you today. It's zelgadissan versus WallKicks. Commentating for us we have Clearmouse and Excalibur, and tracking is Scott G239 and Toffile. Say hello everybody.
Hello everybody. Sorry, I can't resist. I think Clearmouse might still be turning off fans so you all can have nice clean audio for your commentary. So I'll yak a little bit. These guys are both at one loss. They would like to stay at one loss to get in cleanly into the brackets in the top half with a good seed. Of course, the loser still has a chance to get in through the repechage. But you know, better get in the easy way. Looking at the stats that we compiled on their earlier races, these runners are putting up low 2-hour times pretty consistently. So they're not X and 1 for no reason. They're X and 1 because they're real good. Clearmouse, you're back.
Yeah, I am.
How you doing?
Yes, I'm doing well. It's a little warm today.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I am super pumped for this amazing race. Yeah, WallKicks and Zelda. You said two amazing runners, as expected. So, Excalibur, do you think we're going to be able to tell who is who today? Because I see the same sprite on both sides.
Fortunately, I can hold up my hands and tell my lefts from my rights, so I think we're going to be okay.
Oh, dude, you sound more talented in that case. Maybe you can play Crosskeys.
I was trying earlier. It turns out the answer is no. There's a reason I'm in the commentary booth.
Okay, so I'm fully expecting to see a synchronized opening from these guys. You know, it's like swimming, except Crosskeys routing.
You expect first try every time. Boosh.
I mean, just look at that synchronization from Phoenix Wright sprites.
WallKicks made it into the Whirlpool without screwing up, so he's now winning by 10 frames.
Yeah, and actually, I thought maybe Zelda was actually going to do a little bit better because his sprite was already facing right by the time he got to the Whirlpool. But all right, sorry. It looks like we already got a bit of divergence. Zelda's trying to farm potentially a couple enemy drops for diving what right is into the back of Skull Woods.
Hey, at least it'll be fast to take a Death Warp. This is an obnoxious one-item cave combined with coming back later for a boss kill at the moment. And the world's easiest Death Warp. Oh dear. Slightly less easy.
Did you say the world's easiest Death Warp? I mean, these Gyptos apparently are elusive. You have to, chase them down.
Come back! I would like to die.
And of course, it's early on. Death Warps are much easier and accessible. Being only on 3 hearts, of course, they did end up picking 4th. We'll never know if it's the same card because they couldn't end up taking any damage before. But looks like WallKicks takes an early lead over Zelda.
Oh man, that's 2 execution mistakes for zelgadissan so far.
I don't know how he's going to be able to recover from this.
At this rate, he's...
We just saw some money here on Lumberjack. This might take the place of hula-handing.
I mean, or you could do both and go straight to Zora. Eh?
We could fake flip all the way there.
Yeah, let's not. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them. It looks like we have divergence. One of them is going to hula hand. Zelga, he's like $300. I'm good.
Yeah, maybe he will actually. He's definitely going to be ready for Zora at this point.
I suspect that Zelga is making the right play here, but we shall see.
I mean, you could probably never have enough money in Crosskeys.
That's not true. Everybody always ends the race with 1,400 rupees.
Well, I mean, that's just because Zora only sells you 1 item for 500 rupees. They sold you more, then they'd be all set.
Then we'd be playing Shop Sanity, and we would actually just care about rupees.
Or Retrance, right?
All right, we got nothing on WallKick's side, and we can't see what it is on Zelga's side. Looks like he's feeling around in the dark to figure out which cave this is. I'm going to turn on his audio and see if I can figure it out.
Okay, so I think we did spot a small key on the floating island. It looked yellow. It did look small, but hopefully we can get some confirmation at some point either on... Okay, big key, thanks to one of our trackers today. Scott and Topile doing all the button pushing and being our eagle eyes for the day, so thank you so much.
Aha, it was the Old Man Rescue Cave. So zelgadissan is going to make an early trip to to the mountain. Gets the pod big key, and looks like neither of our runners are going to go to Kakariko early. They got better things to do, like go to pod.
Yeah, I've actually seen this type of, at least like opening strategy, is some players tend to avoid Kakariko, mainly because like you have all these other options that you can play. Eventually, one of them is going to lead you back over Kakariko, right? So there's not probably a great rush, for example, and WallKicks is exploring the Eastern Palace area and make sure like he hits like the Lake Hylia, and then we actually found some more money in pod on Zelda's side. So yeah, maybe that Houlihan extra is actually not gonna benefit WallKicks as much.
And better yet, for zelgadissan, we found a whole bunch of bombs underneath pots, which.
Oh yeah, early bombs, of course. Yeah, we have so much money and nothing to spend it on.
Yeah, we can go to Zora. All right, looks like zelgadissan, having found pod in the first 5 minutes, is gonna show off some mimic clips.
Yeah, so this is something I think Zelda is actually fairly well practiced in. Hopefully he's going to have some success today.
Has to use the pots to kill the green mimics, because don't have any real weapons. Alright. Unbuffered mimic clips. This is really hard.
Speaking of somebody who would like some bombs on WallKicks side, or anything really in order to get through this cave, is he gonna succeed? Oh, okay, all right. Iframes and a good luck with mini molders lets him at least check out an exit.
And gets the news that a second exit to Paradox is at just out of Link's house. If and when he gets some bombs, he can go back in the fast way.
Yeah, is he gonna survive though? South Shore is surprisingly dangerous on one heart. Does manage to find a full magic drop though from Bush Crabs. Always nice. We don't have anything to spend magic on, but.
So Zelda does complete mimic clips after resorting to pause buffers, but.
I mean, the point is he's over here. And he doesn't have to leave these bow-locked items behind, including, how surprising, a small key to pod.
Now we get to die and do it again! No, but actually go in the front. It's easy. Right. We'll see if Wally follows the Old Man Rescue Cave in a moment. It's this log. Yes, is the short answer. Oh no.
Yeah, it actually looked like he was actually going to sneak right out. I mean, it's probably fine either way, right? He's pretty, because saying he's at Lumberjack, it's a pretty short trip back over there.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have controller inputs, so I don't know if WallKicks successfully deduced that was the Old Man Rescue Cave. You can do it by holding up and then holding down and see how long it takes to walk out. But that's useless fairy in the Lost Woods, which is something we're not excited to see. That's the thing we want to never see because it's inside the pyramid. So.
Yeah, and meanwhile though, WallKicks also did find out, I think it was Tier 1 Treepool, that he ended up getting some bombs out, so very, very useful for him. At least he's got some semblance of offense. Oh, okay, interesting. Speaking of items we can't get quite yet, just see a book, Inspector Rock.
Oof, I say to that. That's,
at least maybe that might be that book can show up early. Okay, hi, speaking of early. This is just GT, just basically straight out, like, where we can access it very easily.
Let's just do this then. Hey, there's a boat.
Oh, wow, okay. So probably no more mimic clipping on WallKicks side when he goes over to pod. That's a really nice find, actually, early on.
Unless he gets really unlucky with arrow drops. Yeah, but I suspect he will arrange to not get unlucky with arrow drops. And Zelda gonna spend some of that giant pile of money to buying some bombs. Hey, there's a moon pearl.
Oh, wow, okay.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, just sitting there out in the open, just like GT, with that bow, just with the Ice Rod Cave here in Kakariko, early moon pearl. Yeah, maybe you're onto something, Excalibur. Maybe we should always go to Kakariko first before we kind of make our one-offs, because WallKicks gonna have a much easier time later on.
So Zelda saving quit to the old man. Didn't bother checking the back after finding that the front was the entirely unexciting lower left entrance on Dark West Death Mountain. So.
Oh no. Okay. Zelda. All right. So the good. Wow. Okay. Wow. Did you just see that movement through the mini Moldorm? Zelda has scraped by with his aerodynamic hair to get through the mini Moldorms, and he's going to be able to have enough bombs to hopefully survive to get all of the goodies out of Paradox Cave.
And yeah, this heart's here, so life is much better than it could be.
Speaking of nice things, though, also in Kakarita, we saw that WallKicks picked up the lamp from some of his hard-earned either Houlihan or Lost Woods drop-down cash.
I mean, is the Houlihan money stolen from Mr. Houlihan? It's his room.
We've actually never met Mr. Houlihan. We just know that he has a room.
But he won that room.
Yes.
From Nintendo. Aga Tower also in Kakariko. We're hoping we don't have to do that with the Sanctuary at Lumberjack. The game might want us logically to do that, but I suspect some safe scumming shenanigans may occur to solve that problem.
Yeah, and especially because we're getting these dungeons in Kakariko, and it's actually pretty accessible to us. Yeah, safe scumming seems very, very reasonable. And of course, with all these things that Zelda has kind of done, at least in his mind, out of logic, right? Bowlock Pod, rescuing the old man in the dark. With WallKicks' equipment, we all know that that's totally in logic.
Yeah, Zelda-san going to take the opportunity to bunny walk to Dark Flute 5 here, rather than immediately saving quitting. Hey, it's a dungeon that's really hard to Dungeon Bunny Revival in.
Yeah. And also, we really don't have any type of equipment to speak of. I guess, WallKicks has a bow, and the Moon Twirl, so he's going to be able, and he just needs a couple arrows in order to get through the switches.
Yeah. I mean, you're not heavily excited to go into Tower Para with nothing, even if the big key did turn up. But Potion Shop in Kakariko, another convenient for later location.
So normally the potion shops can actually be quite elusive on the inside, especially when we get that mushroom. Seems more often than not, you turn on the mushroom and you're just basically waiting to see if you can find a potion shop. Okay, WallKicks though, having some pretty good luck finding more item caves.
More good big keys.
Yeah, so Desert Palace big and a ton more cash. Yeah, we're very healthily on our way to that 2,000 rupee mark, by the way.
Ooh, Zelda-san feels really clever about this bunny walk.
Yeah, this is going to be super nice. Of course, we did see that WallKicks picked up the Moon Pearl, so... but of course, the good news on Zelda's side is that nobody has boots. So it's not like he, got to the pyramid any slower, really, right?
Nope. Bunnies walk the same speed as people, don't you know? Alright. Here's Zelda-san having gotten distracted by the mountain, which I think was a totally reasonable thing to do. Now off to the world via the South Way. I'm going to check some glove lock things, because we can do that. Likely to stop by Sanctuary in a moment, too.
I can't believe with all this money he refuses to pick up anything from the Curiosity Shop. I mean, there's a fire shield that could totally help him out.
Mm-hmm, totally help him out. I'm sure that all the runners are highly interested in having a fire shield. Uncle at Sank, which makes Zelda a little bit sad because his, feeling of cleverness for having a pair of gloves drops because he didn't need them. Looks like WallKicks is now making his way into Paradox. Got about as beat up as Zelda going through the past many Moldorms, but has a little bit more health. Hey, a mirror!
Oh, yeah! Forget about feeling clever or not for Zank being there, or Uncle, rather. Zelda picked up the mirror, which is arguably one of the best items in finding Crosskeys. In terms of mobility, of course. The traveling between light and dark worlds.
I think that the chat is going to shout at us if we don't say that the mirror is the best item in the game.
Are we gonna go through this again? You know, I'm very, very partial to some footwear that is red colored.
Which is fair, but I think that ZelgaDissan and Wally disagree with you. So,
I mean, they're free to disagree. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong. Okay. But regardless of between our two runners, I mean, we have so we have a glove and mirror on Zelga's side. We have the moon pearl and some a pretty nice offensive bow right on WallKicks' side. So presumably they're actually going to get each other's items relatively soon. So this actually should be a pretty nice team in terms of being able to efficiently clear Light and Dark Worlds.
The lamp, not essential for these guys, but you know, without a better way to find your way around in the dark. Rescuing the Old Man is actually just like kind of slow in the dark because it's hard. Like you have to feel your way around, and plenty of the other dark rooms. Like the lamp will save some non-trivial amount of time over the course of this seed, over and above the fact that it actually is logically required to do anything in the dark. There's another pod small, so.
Yeah, this is going to be really good for WallKicks when he eventually goes over and finds Pod. Although, of course, with that lamp, they don't have the Hera small key right now, but that is a fire source that they have. So if and when WallKicks eventually gets a small key to Hera, he does have the option to do Hera basement.
I don't know how Zelda got to Dark East Death Mountain, but he did. So that's a interesting place for him to be. That's not flipping Kakariko where his Moon Pearl is. Found the backside of Spec Rock. Right. Wally gonna make the walk all the way into Pod Main entrance.
Oh, Zelda! Alright, somebody please make a note of Zelda heading into Eastern Palace early.
This is like the second week in a row he's done this.
I know. I don't know where his reputation is, and of course, you know, what does he get? You know, into Eastern Palace immediately. Good cannonball RNG. Doesn't even have to, you know, swiggle his way over to the back.
That was Bumper Cave at Pod Main entrance, which he can't do, and he really hopes he doesn't have to go back there to do it later.
Oh yeah, because WallKicks was the one who also went over to the Eastern Palace area, right? So that's right. So he probably just trying to be thorough in cleaning up that area because with that, oh no, he doesn't have the mirror yet. Never mind. We're gonna get the mirror hopefully sometime soon.
So these runners have come up with a surprising amount of divergence for a few minutes into the seed. I assume, like, given that a bunch of the stuff is just sitting around in obvious places, I assume they're going to cover over each other sooner or later, but Zelda hasn't gotten to Kakariko yet. He keeps getting distracted by stuff.
Yeah, and of course with that glove and mirror, right, he could get just, like, further distracted along as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I hope, I mean, even still, going to Kakariko and mirroring if you're going to Village Baptist and mirroring is a fine thing to do. A mushroom.
Yeah, well, we did find the early potion shop. I think it was on... Oh, it was on WallKicks' side, right? Because he was the one who actually went to Kakariko.
Yeah,
so, but at least it's going to be good news. To get to the campus relatively early. Of course, having not also been gone to Kakariko, we also see that Zelda is attempting yet another dark room, and certainly not going to be one of the more challenging ones. I'm glad also that Zelda had took off his spear on the Y spot, just in case.
So WallKicks did successfully decode that this was the Old Man Rescue Cave in the dark, through his control inputs in the dark, which we have no information about, but he beelined it straight back here after hitting the lamp. So now Wally's going to get all of the mount checks. He's going to be covering all the stuff that ZelgaDissan did earlier.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the mountain has lots and lots of interests for you to explore, right? So yeah, speaking of, oh, that's right, yeah, Pod was here. So with an extra Pod key, I think potentially WallKicks could go a little bit further. I guess I'm just curious to see what he decides to do.
He's going to have 3 smalls and a big by the time he's done the bow side. So I expect to see, like, most of this stuff.
Yeah, of course, having an actual bow this time means that I think WallKicks is able to mimic clip. He does also have a bottle at the time when Zelda did not. So I think if he also knows like the fairy revival camera unlock trick, he could do that as well. But of course, he has a bow, so none of that matters.
Got 4 arrows. Yeah, he doesn't have to fuck around with your fancy glitches. He's got. He's got the.
He just has to remember to let go of the fairy if he wants to death warp at this point, because he doesn't have that mirror yet.
So, with the mirror in hand, Zelda made his way up this mountain and checked the top here and found Triple Rock, Laser Eye entrance. And now we're doing bunny dark caves in bunny form.
Can the runner who has the lamp start exploring and going through these dark rooms so we can actually see what's going on?
I believe that was the diagonally cave, but I have Ahsoka's audio up to try to figure out what he's doing in the dark. So he now knows which dark connector that is, and if the other end of it doesn't turn up, he may be back there later to make more progress.
Okay, so it looks like at the 20-minute mark, Zelda is finally willing to go back to Kakariko. Not even in the front, too, or he's going to come in from the south.
Well, every time he tries to approach from the north, he gets distracted by stuff.
You're right. So he's learning his lesson, that's right.
Like an ADHD management strategy right here.
Of course, as you mentioned earlier, Excalibur, Pod is an excellent bomb refill source, as we're seeing Wally just kind of pick up a couple every single time he saves some hits. Did you happen to catch what was on the race game?
Sorry, say again?
Did you happen to catch what was on the race game?
Nope. But
alright, small key on race game. Thank you so much.
My experience is that our trackers always tell me immediately after race game, and so I have learned over the months and years of doing this that I never get the right answer, and so I'm just going to trust the trackers.
I hope the trackers were adamantly counting the number of chest turns that Zelda ended up getting in Hype Cave. It was a 100% completion rate. Really nicely done, Zelda. Did we just see another small pod key? And pod? So that's 2 this scene?
Yep.
Pretty amazing dungeon.
Now we can do this door. Hey, pod key, what do you turn into? It's a heart. But now we get to hammer jump from the bottom, which is slightly easier.
Yeah, I mean that extra pod key that WallKicks ended up finding in the basement, basement cage in Hera. I mean, it has like really paid off like a lot of progress in this dungeon.
A lot of progress, not a lot of good things yet.
This is true. We made a lot of checks in pod. We have not actually found anything that impressive.
Minor small, sure. We might be happy to have that later. A big key to something. Hey, that's actually something. We haven't found Hera, so.
Yeah, we found Hera, and we looks like currently do not have a weapon yet to be able to kill Moldorm, but we do have a way up. Certainly, it could be very possible that a permanent weapon or something that we can actually kill Moldorm with is on the way to the boss.
Yep. Both runners have, by the way, seen Hyrule Castle and have chosen not to go in, presumably trying to postpone the decision about E usage due to the positioning of back of escape, and not wanting to do that, wanting to leave open the possibility of saves coming. And given that they've been there fairly deep into a route, not wanting to just dive in and commit themselves.
Yeah, WallKicks also taking advantage of that empty bottle and a ton of cash at this point. Refills his health with the brick potion, and can actually take one for the road as well.
Well, when you have 888 rupees, you might as well.
Yeah, after like 300 rupee spent at at a potion shop and a bunch of other purchases in Kakariko.
Kyle has been tracking drop-downs for us and points out that means we have well at pyramid. So that's 9 items behind the climb rather than 4.
Yeah, it's pretty tempting. You know, on the one hand, it seems pretty lucrative considering we already did find GT. We haven't done the big key yet, but if we do, that could certainly be an option for us. At the same time, like if we can just avoid that GT climb altogether, that would be super great.
Yeah. But given the location of GT and the well there, I have a sneaking suspicion that we might be seeing that today. And here's GT.
Yeah, I mean, just actually looking at Zelga's inventory, I don't really think we have anything extra that he has right now over WallKicks. I guess he has the mirror, I think, so he doesn't have to, take the death warp. But other than that, it's going to be a very short trip in.
WallKicks got there with 3 hearts. So the death warp did not take for a long, other than the death animation. WallKicks walks into the old man cave and is like, "Well, why do you live here? This is a dumb place for you to live." And
yeah, it's like, well, I'm already here. That's right. He's like, I'm already here. I may as well see where the back goes.
Well, so I would have extra laughed at him if he save and quit to the old man to walk out the back
and
door.
Then it starts an old man. Wow, interesting.
Was that the old man, the back old man?
That was the back old man. Yes, that is correct.
That's an exciting place for that to be.
It is very interesting for it. So that means at least that we don't have to be over at the pyramid and mirror over in order to get these entrances. Speaking of, that is Swamp Palace. And of course, actually, thanks to I think a recent upgrade to one of the tracking software, we actually do have also the dam marks when eventually our runners hopefully will be able to come across that.
Hopefully. Yeah, it's...
But this is also kind of interesting, right? Because the back of the old man that WallKicks knows about goes to Hyrule Castle top. So we remember that Zelda found his glove on Pyramid. I'm hoping that doesn't deter WallKicks from going over to the Pyramid, right? Because it's like, well...
So I think if he's playing correctly, it does. And that's bad for him, but it's still correct decision-making. Speaking of which, ZelgaDissan goes 2 chests into the front of Escape, and then bails to go to the back of Escape. Steals the key, decides that 3 items are better than 1 item. Let's go do the back. Both the Zelda cell chest and these back chests are equally out of luck until the sewer's key turns up. So let's get 3 out of logic things instead of 1.
Yeah, looks like on WallKick's side does pick up the mirror from Uncle, so certainly very very happy to be able to see that.
We didn't mention when ZelgaDissan got his entirely undramatic moon pearl just sitting in a cave in Kakariko.
In Ice Rock Cave, that's right. Yeah, okay. And it actually looks like WallKicks though falling right into Spectre Rock, so he's gonna, I think, take his way over to Dark Death Mountain. So with that mirror, he's gonna be able to basically do the same thing that Zelda did earlier.
Swamp map.
To swamp.
3 bombs, 10 arrows.
Wow. Well, at least Zelda got some arrows back, I guess, from his trip over to Escape. Man, that's really sad. Back in Escape.
Yep, it is. And I don't know if he's hoping or not hoping that the sewer's key turns up sooner rather than later. So Castle left is in Village of Outcasts. So Zelda can mirror back to Kakariko and carry on.
Oh yeah, that's right, and we can also get the first item in Castle Tower. I mean, and actually even almost the 30-minute mark, right? Our best weapon, albeit it's a very good one, is the bow, right? Don't even really have like a permanent weapon kind of to speak of, but at least this is going to make the trip over to clearing the first couple rooms a little bit easier.
That was really nicely done. The bow versus the fast guards is kind of obnoxious.
There's a reason why they're fast. Zelda, very very adept at being able to handle guards.
Apparently, Zelda also too cool for the brewery. That is where he got spat out, but I'm surprised he didn't just drop a bomb there to open it up. There's a reasonable chance he goes back through there at some point.
Yeah, I think. Meanwhile, did we find Turtle Rock front on WallKicks side, or maybe Zelda already found it as well?
Yep. Zelda found that earlier. But of course, this early in the seed, it's a nice place to fill up your magic, mark it on your map, and remember to come back later.
Hey, WallKicks, he's hesitating. He does have the bow, but we do not have Eastern Palace Big Key.
I have WallKicks internal monologue. Well, Zelda's never going to dip this, so I should dip this. See if I can get a big advance.
Oh, I believe we have synchronized Phoenix sprites going on. This is only natural, of course, for both runners to be able to come into Eastern Palace.
Hey, zelgadissan follows Hector to nice run area. Saves him a walk.
Yeah, this is also going to be really nice for on Zelda's side because he has that glove as well, so just means he's over here. Of course, yeah, it would have been nice to come over here in Dark World, right? Because then you can mirror over and get all the locations.
Welcome Schultzer's giant boat of viewers to a 5-1 Crosskeys match. I assume that y'all know what Crosskeys are when you're watching Schultzer. These guys have a bunch of stuff early, and it's looking optimistically fast for now.
We have no boots, Excalibur. How do you expect to go fast if you can't run?
So if you just warp from one place to another, it's pretty fast.
Alright, so speaking of warping, potentially, we found Thieves Town here on Zelda's side.
Yep. And like, I enjoy that there's a giant controversy. Like, you go to Eastern, there's 4 or 5 items in there, and how much stuff you have. But it's a giant long walk. And then Thieves Town, which admittedly is much faster. No controversy at all. Everybody goes in.
Well, I mean, especially on this side, so Zelda doesn't have the big key, so he can't really make much progress, I guess. Nope. So it feels a bit more natural to come in here, especially with that mirror. Very fast, easy exit out.
Yep. We don't have to fuck around with money beams and so on.
Okay,
Small key to sweat.
Yeah, that swamp key is actually a pretty decent find for Zelda. We don't actually know if swamp is a crystal or pendant. Of course, the chances are it may not matter because it's Crosskeys, and the likelihood of you going into a swamp for any reason whatsoever is actually pretty good.
Yep. And here's zelgadissan off to go pick up his known key off the race game. We clearly need to get a booth of Schultzer versus Alasun in later on, so they can argue about how to start the game on stream, rather than merely in chat. Hey, it's Super Bunny Cave in the behind the rocks entrance. While you're remembering to mirror there, pick these up. I don't remember Saga doing this earlier. I don't believe he had. No, he did.
I don't think that he did. I guess I don't remember him dropping down here. $50 and an ice palace key. Yeah, well, also speaking of, so Zelda just ended up digging up the big key to swamp as well. So between our 2 runners, well, we don't have flippers, and we haven't found the dam yet, but we do have a lot of stuff for the inside of swamp if we ever choose to go back in.
I mean, we'd kind of like a hammer and maybe a hook shot.
I mean, just some other minor details. But I mean, like at least swamp is just at the top of Harrow Castle, right? I think. So it's not like it's not too difficult to get back there.
845 being the Turtle Rock Big Chest entrance is kind of lame. That's a place that you're likely going to want to come back to later, and it's one of the less convenient entrances in the game. That's Smith's up on the mountain. Another kind of terrible spot.
Mitts and Crosskeys sometimes can be a very questionable item. You know, at the one hand, it gives you so much accessibility. On the other hand, it gives you so much accessibility. You just hope that the accessibility is not bait.
Mm-hmm. Looks like WallKicks is interested in turning in his mushroom aggressively. Has a fire source, but does not have a sword to beat Skullwood's back, which is here. I wouldn't be surprised if Zelda is waiting on a sword to go back and turn in his mushroom.
Yeah, and also, right, that speaking of, we would really like a permanent weapon at some point, even though I am very highly amused of seeing all these guys take down enemies with their bow.
If we get to do some swordless boss fights, that'll be exciting.
Oh, did you see that shield block on Zelda's side? He's immediately turned left and blocked the spear from the moblin and then just went back to his business? Oh, that's pretty cool.
That was spectacular use of the little plastic shield, which, you know, most of the time people will say you doesn't do anything useful, but saved him one whole heart right there. Desert Rites with a big key in hand. Let's go check this out.
Yeah, look at all these really long hallways.
Ooh.
Hello, flippers. Interesting. So we are surprisingly close to the inside of the swamp.
And more to the point, now we can go check the hobo. Also, we can spend all our money at King's Mirror.
Just say, so I mean, this, we already had a glove early on, so of course that did put Sora on logic, but I mean, those flippers, that's going to make things a lot more palatable for WallKicks when he decides to go into his smoking chest.
Yeah. You also get to check everything else up there. I was trying to read two text boxes at once, and that did not go well.
So one of them, so Zelda found the small key to the Tower of Hera. So these guys are finding stuff that, like, it would be really great if, well, I think Zelda actually does know where Hera is, right? And he does have a fire source now, so he can go back.
Yes, he can go and sit in the basement and go get another beer out of the fridge.
Oh, but he doesn't have the Hera big key yet that I know WallKicks has.
Yeah, and unfortunately the Hera pot trick does require hookshot, so... Alright, looks like zelgadissan, having found his way to South Dark World, is gonna do a full sweep down here. He had the gloves, so we got to do the efficient routing going south and the left side through the rock block area. We'll see what he does at the end after this next entrance, assuming it's not a connector.
Yeah, I think Zelda hasn't been over here yet. It was WallKicks who was over here, so he's definitely going to mirror over to the light world and check this area out.
Yeah, these two entrances at the very least. It feels almost like sinful to mirror to check these entrances. Really? You got the mirror before you got to these two?
Yeah, unfortunately, WallKicks still hasn't been over to the pyramid yet, so he doesn't actually have his glove. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to, at least from his perspective, isolate that one entrance behind. I don't think it was anything useful though, because Zelda had already been over there.
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be a while before WallKicks makes it to the pyramid. Frankly, it is not the most convenient place to get to. So that was an attempted Ancilla fake flipper setup that did not go right, and rather than make more attempts, zelgadissan is off.
Yeah, I mean it's very reasonable. You know, he doesn't have flippers. You know, maybe he just makes it his one attempt. He has a lot of extra things he wants to do.
Go back through the Paradox Cave.
Hey, speaking of unpleasant rooms, WallKicks is decided to go back into Skullwoods and try to do the vanilla big key statue room without the King of Smart.
A room without weapons.
Oh man, WallKicks
Sucks. Now he's got his Death Warp all set up, which he's going to take because You don't want to be walking around Skullwoods with half a heart. So,
Yeah, speaking of, he is aptly rewarded with the big key to ice. So he actually just found Ice Palace a couple screens earlier. I think it was at Dark Fortune Teller. So if we don't have a Fire Rod or Bombos, not to mention a sword. So we really can't do anything yet, but once we do get one of those things, we can make some progress in there.
Zelgadissan finds Spiral Cave at Sahasrahla. Is going to finish off the area, at least the pod main entrance, before considering that. The pod main entrance is Bumper Cave, and so he might choose to go through. There's no item in Bumper Cave. There is one in Spiral Cave, but
but I think Zelda found the other end of Bumper Cave, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think he's gonna chase it. At least I think it was on the left side of the screen. No, it's sometimes these Phoenix sprites tend to blend.
Are all these Ace Attorneys confusing you?
Although speaking of nice caves, finally to be able to kill so many mold storms. Well, you know, the bombs are eventually going to land, for sure. And maybe WallKicks is going to just pull out the bow and have a little bit easier time. Sorry, WallKicks.
The accuracy of that bombing was not up to anyone's standard. An Ice Rod, required item today. Today our Ice Rod hunt will not feature the literal Ice Rod.
Yeah, it's always a relief when you see that Turtle Rock is a crystal and you see the Ice Rod basically at any point before you have to go kill Trinex.
Yep. So Zelgadissan chooses not to follow Spiral Cave. Which is a play.
Yeah, with that cape, he might be interested in going to the pyramid, because I don't think he's been to the back of Old Man, right? So from his perspective, because he has the mirror, he has the rest. He can also check the top of Pyro Castle.
Yes, he's gonna find the back of Old Man and be like, "Oh,
yeah."
I don't know all the way there.
All right, so WallKicks though, finding the arguably one of the worst connectors in the game, but at least he found the good end where he just dropped down.
And the highly variable connector.
Yeah, that's right. So compass on floating island. So we don't. Looks like we're not gonna probably need that compass today.
I missed where that connector came from, but we're reasonably likely to use it again, depending on how easy it was to get to. Curiosity shop? Yuck. Maybe not. And WallKicks off to go do flipper things.
Yeah, I mean, with the actual flippers that he got from turning in the mushroom, it's going to be something that is potentially going to lead to some more progression, because we've actually seen a lot of checks combined on both runners' side, and really haven't. I mean, progression has been like breadcrumbing in, right? You know, we got some pretty good stuff early on, but I think like in the last it's like 10 minutes or so, or 20, it's really just been those flippers.
Yeah, I mean, they did get hit in the face with like multiple bakeries in the first 10 minutes, and so like if there's only a few breadcrumbs after that, it's fine. We've got a picnic. We can survive in these woods.
At some point, though, we do get to eat, right? We don't have to just kind of nibble.
We get bacon as the dessert in this game.
Oh yeah, speaking of, wouldn't a sword be really nice at this point? They're still on, what, arrows? Or a bow and arrow as the best weapon?
We've been through here again? Or did WallKicks go through from the front?
We have not been here yet, because there's a very highly coveted potential progression of the book. Not that we can. I guess this opens up like one, Desert Palace main entrance for us, right? We don't have any sword to speak of. I guess we can check the tablets, but we can't actually get the items.
We can read them with our book. Like, hey, we have homework for later. It looks like, having made his way to the pyramid, Zelgadissan is going to continue up to Catfish and presumably Zora.
Yeah, I mean, so it looks like actually Zelda still does have a good amount of ammo. Oh man, he does need to be a bit careful though, making his way into captives. These robots do 2 hearts of damage, so he does not want to take a very costly overworld death here.
So, I realize these guys are real good, but leaving behind Capacity Fairy, when you don't have any weapons and
a ton of cash, ooh.
And you have like infinite money, seems unnecessarily bold.
WallKicks is confident in his ability to find a sword or hammer. Speaking of, maybe a sword would be better off because we did see bombos on Zora Ledge, and assuming we do find a sword, that could be a ticket into Ice Palace.
Zelgadissan having to walk around via the stupid little hole.
He needs to really be careful. I mean, despite Phoenix Wright having a blue suit, I believe they still are both on green mail.
They have a tracker for that recently. Clear map. I don't know if you haven't been here for a little bit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that.
They added a mail tracker because it turns out that lots of people were using sprites that weren't the right colors. So, all right, Catfish, which is a check that WallKicks, I believe, had to leave behind because he didn't get there via Light World. Or Dark World, rather. Ooh, nice. And so a delete there.
Yeah, no, that was really nicely done on Zelda's side. Let's see if he is willing to go back to Capacity because he just ended up using a ton of ammo.
Yeah. He is willing to pay Barry. I don't know why buying the things puts you back in a swimming state. Exactly how the swimming detection in this game works inside caves is...
there are many mysterious things about this game.
Yes. I mean, the fact that the Moon Pearl is relevant for that... What?
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of, actually, Zelda is probably potentially patting himself on the back even more for going to the Capacity Fairy because he's seeing combos. He doesn't have the flippers. This might be another ASL flipper deletion in order to get back his fake flipper state in order to get combos.
Yeah. He unfortunately can't store that water rock, but he's not interested in those $5. He's got enough money. Huh. Are we... Yeah, we're walking all the way around. Walking all the way around.
I mean, if he can get bombos on this trip, right, it'll be very efficient for him. Especially when we know that WallKicks has the flippers from the mushroom turn-in. He'll definitely lose time to WallKicks if he doesn't get it this time, which looks like he does. Nicely done, Zelda.
That is not a trivial trick. Admittedly, he has one of the best collections of stuff to do it. The bow is really the best and so a delete, exhale splash delete fake flipper thing. But all right, and WallKicks made it to Meyer. So that's another thing off the to-do list.
And this is Desert Palace main, right?
Yeah,
interesting, okay.
The quote-unquote book locked location.
Yes.
We have a connector to solve the
Even
problem.
though we can... Yeah, so the book not paying off necessarily just quite yet. We do see some health.
And these random townsfolk are perfectly happy for us to rob them. Zelgadissan hasn't checked this one entrance, so is willing to hop down. And is off to go get the Super Bunny items.
Yeah, I think it was just a small key to Ice Palace, if I remember correctly. And I guess some more money may not actually be bad on Zelda's side. Somehow we managed to spend our entire fortune down to just 34 rupees.
I mean, he's spent all of the mandatory money, so at this point, future money is just potion shop money. I missed where Wally came from to get to Meyer. I feel bad about that, but I kind of feel like for some of these Crosskeys races, I should have the streams up, and then the streams up from 20 seconds ago on a separate monitor.
But I mean, we've got some pretty excellent trackers actually telling us exactly where all of our runners have actually ended up being to.
Tofile is always on top of things, but I think consistently tells me where the inside was that came out, instead of the thing that in some sense matters more, which is how do you actually get there. In this case, we've seen the castle enough times.
Well, so we have found pretty much our last barrier of entry into Swamp Palace on WallKicks side. So we finally did find the dam in the mire area. So he's not only going to be able to check the flooded chest, but so he has flippers. He just flooded the dam. He does have the swamp small. I think he's missing the swamp big, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, he doesn't have the swamp small yet. That was only on Zelga's side. Never mind.
He's gonna get there. And there's French Vanilla Missouri Mire. We hid the fortress in a much less assuming place, hoping that nobody would notice.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, no hookshot, no boost in order to get in, so I'm gonna delay that a little bit.
ZelgaDissan is down to connector checking, which
Okay, they should hear you now. I had to switch to local and jump back into the Discord call, but everyone should be able to hear everything now.
Okay, we have been told that you can hear. Now you should be able to hear us.
Talk like you can hear us, and then feel dumb if you can't.
When we can't. Awesome.
Hooray!
All right, thank you so much, Ricky, for getting us all back on the air.
Ricky was busy clicking buttons in the background. We apologize if for the downtime. We also apologize if the stream gets a little bit hinky. This, I think, is now running on Ricky's local machine rather than the big fancy computers that CSR has set aside for this. So
we are just very happy that we are just back on the air. Although it looks like okay, so I think hopefully our trackers have been good enough to be able to keep up. It looks like though Zelda just made it right through Mini Moldrum Cave by this help in order to pick up his ice run.
All right. Now we had a carefully crafted narrative going, Claremos, as this race was progressing. Do you remember what it is? You want to bring the reviewers up to spec? Because I forget.
I'm sorry, I didn't actually catch what you just said.
Oh no! Technical difficulties. Strike again. I was asking for a recap now that we've resumed having a stream. Technical difficulties may be ongoing.
No, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to be able to get some amount of recap from the repeat of what some of these runners have been doing. But also, it does not look like we have found any permanent weapon, nor have we found a first glove on WallKicks' side.
So WallKicks has many places he can go, most of which don't have a glove.
Especially, why need a glove when you can just exit out the glove lock locations?
I mean, if you do that enough times, you don't actually need the glove. I feel guilty because I haven't been keeping track of if the glove has actually led to anything of relevance.
That's actually a good question. I also don't think it has. Because there is one entrance that Zelda was able to get in Ice Rock Cave area over Zelda because he did have the glove when he was over there, but I don't think it was anything useful.
I agree. There's a few here and there, a few glove lock entrances here and there around the world. We don't yet have confirmation on the dungeons that require the glove. The glove is not always required.
The first glove is very often required, but yeah, especially in Crosskeys, the mitts are certainly have not necessarily been required, and yeah, they can certainly be bait. We're back in GT on WallKicks' side.
Yes, we're going to go get our torch item. Hey, a sword for Zelda in Skullwoods. How does Wally not have that? Wasn't he in here?
I was gonna say, did he only do one of the first? Did he only do the vanilla Big Key?
He didn't want to get stuck. He didn't want to get stuck in the back. Apparently, and
yeah. Well, so this is an amazingly nice payout then for Zelda. Oh man, and a big key to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I mean, WallKicks will go do that eventually, but I think at the time had no particularly convenient way back to the Dark Worlds. So now Zelda crosses his fingers and hopes for the 1 in too many chance that this is exactly this room. Hooray! Bailed out!
Yeah, with the sword also on Zelda's side, so both runners into finding the back of Skullwoods pretty easily. They don't have a fire rod, of course. They don't have, I think, all of the Skullwoods monkeys, but this is potentially something that Zelda could go do if he chooses to maybe try and get either a first crystal or pendant, under or somewhere close to an hour mark.
Yeah, I'm not excited to go to Fighter Sword Mothula.
I mean, nobody is actually excited. Oh, hey, but speaking of that sword, we have Bombos. We have entry into Ice Palace.
Yeah, I'm way more excited to do this than I am, which is in Logic, than to go kill Mothula out of Logic for an item, right? Like, if it's down to killing Moth because it's the last thing on my possible to-do list, even though it's out of Logic, sure. But this is way easier and also in Logic. And better.
Yeah, no hook shot, no hammer means that we're are still going to be locked out of a couple of chests, but yeah, 100%. So some of the rooms that Zelga's doing, just like this Pingator room, with bombs is totally illogical. Oh my gosh! Speaking of, never mind. We can keep going in this dungeon. Wow.
The hammer's just here. Come on, what are you talking about?
It is. You're right. Well, I mean, what? Oh, how could I forget that the hammer just gonna be sitting in nice palace, especially when that's when you need it.
It's just right there. Unfortunately, we don't have the third kind of key for Ice Palace, which is to say the Cane of Samaria. So we have to do this like it's 2012.
I'm proud of Zelda standing on the right peg for that room. The room is actually surprisingly difficult. Does require probably a little bit nicer enemy RNG, but Zelda did a very nice job.
All right. So WallKicks is now leaving 2 items behind that are going to take him forever to get to, because one, going into Ice Palace without a glove or a hammer is even more miserable. And then 2, I think this is a relatively bold choice by Zelda, given his collection of stuff and the state of the game, and it's paid off super great. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that hammer, right? We actually have traditional Dark World access now.
Cape usage by Zelda. That was a really nice. So that 5 Pingator room. Everybody has the setups for it with all the stuff you always have in regular randos, but that was a really slick bomb, and then just like caping through the Pingator's maneuver.
Yeah, another really nice usage of a quick swap. Yeah, and especially when you normally like what people like to do as well, only with bomb setups, is they can like bonk the wall so they don't get hit. But of course, Zelda doesn't have the boots, so he can't really do much bonking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to go connector diving to find the boots too, so that might also be a while. That's chat. Let's get another argument going in chat. Would you rather have gloves and hammer or boots? In the abstract, not even in just this seat.
I mean, I'm sure Zelda would very much appreciate the boots at this point.
I'm sure. And I'm sure. I think the opposite is also true. I'm sure WallKicks would love to have a
I'm sure WallKicks at this point would love to have a hammer or a glove or a sword. He found those items pretty early on, right? Then what did he find early? He found a bow, he found a moon pearl pretty early, which is really nice. He did find clippers, which Zelda looks like still actually does not have. So I guess he hasn't turned in the mushroom yet, or hasn't gone back and at least claimed the prize for it. Yeah, well,
he hasn't. No, he has turned it in. Hey, a hook shot in here too.
Holy frick! Did we say something about no hook shot, no hammer, so Zelda can't really make too much progress? But yeah, why bother looking for it when it's just right here in Ice Palace?
Mm-hmm. The race I did yesterday, the last 4 things that the runner needed were all in Shopping Mall. Sometimes rando's just nice to you. Not very often, but sometimes.
Now, all we need to do is find a fire rod in here, and our lives will be complete.
We find a fire rod. No, we need to. So the thing we really want to find in here is the cane, so we don't feel bad about not doing icebreaker.
I believe Zelda also does have a rule about like fire locking fire, so we did need bombos to get in here. Speaking of, though, we did find another medallion, Ether. I don't think... So we know that it was both bombos and for Turtle Rock and Mire. Not that medallions probably matter all that much, in at least in terms of entry requirements in Crosskeys, but it could be something offensive.
Especially given that we got spat out of one of them, I believe. So...
Oh, right. WallKicks reminding us that there was actually a big key on Floating Island, and it's a very requisite... Well... It's potentially very requisite. Big Key GT, GT Big Key is locking. Actually, what we just heard that it was the well up there. So potentially could lock a lot of items.
I enjoy that you asked for the well and then you decided on the number.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So WallKicks does have a lamp, and he does have a bow, and he does have a potion that he failed to use in time. That's Slightly unfortunate.
Unfortunate WallKicks. I mean, like that place is pretty brutal coming in here,
Yep.
and it looks like actually WallKicks is still on green mail, so just couldn't quite get over to the item to use the potion of time.
Sorry, the thing I was saying was 3 small keys, a big key, a bow, and a fire source. WallKicks can just go climb GT whenever he wants.
So speaking of, Zelda not only, I don't think he's necessarily gonna miss those boosts anytime soon, but he just found the flute off of Cold Stare. Ice Palace is completely loaded for us today. Like, talk about, like, basically Pod having, 14 items, that, 13 of them that we know about was pretty much just, junk.
Yep.
There were the 8 items in Ice Palace that, 4 or 5 of them were just, amazing progression items.
Yep. Now we get to listen to a jaunty song, or Zelgadis, and fly around the world. Zelgadissan probably now wants to find Mitt, rather than diving connectors looking for there.
Okay, WallKicks finally gonna pick up his glove at the hour mark on Pyramid.
Feels bad. This is like a one-off bad location, so it doesn't at all surprise me that it took WallKicks a long time to get over here after the spawn point for Old Man turned up on top of the castle. I think this is even correct play. It's just hyper unfortunate play.
Anything good in Hookshot Cave? Okay, first Castle Tower small key, so we do get one more item.
And speaking of hookshot, here's Wally also. Oh, sorry.
Well,
different seed.
Yep. These Phoenix sprites, they all just gotta blend at this point. This is certainly also very reasonable, right? WallKicks has a small key to swamp. He found flippers, which Zelda still has not claimed. He still though has not been able to
right here,
hammer, so he can't make too much progress. But at least he's gonna be able to claim these last 2.
Here's those flippers, and
the 1, sorry.
Loading up on a blue potion too. Zelgadissan, video was broke. Found a fairy, and actually threw some bottles, at least 1 bottle into the fairy for a green potion.
Yeah, unfortunate. For Wally to take a mirror bonk there. So just to recap some pretty key items that one runner has, the other doesn't. Zelda found his fighter sword in the front of Skull Woods, and which WallKicks did visit, but due to kind of an unfortunate layout in Skull Woods, WallKicks only chose to do the vanilla big key statue room, and didn't decide to explore elsewhere. WallKicks found his boots as the sunken treasure after he pulled the dam in Misery Mire area, which Zelda has not been to yet.
Yeah, the connector for Misery Mire, if we remember correctly, is Hyrule Castle's one of the Hyrule Castle exits, which is something that I think Zelgadissan is likely to leave behind for quite some time. And yeah, the Skullwoods layout is with the front with only the single entrance, in the back of Skullwoods. WallKicks was not excited to go get himself stuck and have to save and quit out of there. As it happens, Zelgadissan got lucky and got the 1 drop down that gets you out of that situation accessible from the back, which is just luck. Hey, it's a cane.
Oh
blocked by the hook.
Hook blocks Mario. Well, at least we know the icebreaker was not going to be likely for Ice Palace to see. So this is going to be kind of interesting because now Zelda with a plethora of GT Smalls as well, he is going to be able to clear out the entire basement because he does have that lamp as a fire source. Unfortunately, he does not have the GT Big Key that WallKicks ended up picking up from Floating Islands. So he is probably going to have to most likely isolate that chest behind.
Yeah, and can't get tempted / baited into climbing. We'll see if he's willing to sequence break the right-hand side. It's 4 chests. It's not that hard. it's like one of the few places you have to bomb jump off a conveyor, which is kind of obnoxious. But I'm sure Zelda knows how to do it. It's just a question of whether he thinks it's worth doing right now.
Yeah, so he does have the hook shot, which can make things a little bit easier in terms of time. But yeah, no boots also can make time a little bit difficult. He might be motivated to go over to that right side though, because so far we haven't really found anything on left side GT except for that Cadence Mario that lets us go over there.
Except for the Cadence Mario, which is excellent. Yeah.
WallKicks getting bullied by a bush card of all things. Really wish that he would be able to have a sword. But like, yeah, you know.
ZelgaDissan's bomb setup for that warp tile skip, it makes me impressed every time he does it.
Super smooth, right? I mean, these guys are so well practiced and experienced in this game. You can tell that Zelda's a very veteran Crosskeys runner.
Yeah. Even getting the diagonal there to avoid. So that bomb jump, you can bomb jump too far, and then you get to field dump. And going in at an angle like that helps prevent that.
Hey, we found a desert palace small. We had not found desert back, as far as I know. But Zelda certainly has found desert. So whenever he wants to go back, there is another 2 free items waiting for him.
Yes. Nice ice armos.
Nice armos.
Even doing the
upgrades have been very nice to Zelda.
Yes, and WallKicks still has 580 rupees and no capacity upgrades.
And no permanent weapon yet. So I guess WallKicks can't even make his way into Ice Palace because he needs that sword from Skull Woods. Holy, where are the rest of the swords in this case? For this game, our runners have actually cleared quite a bit.
So it is entirely possible for the game to have like logically locked swords that unlock things. It doesn't happen very often, but there was a sword locked entrance yesterday that cost 1 run of the game. It can happen. Sometimes Rando's a dick. Here's WallKicks doing.
Certainly doesn't have to be
doing Laser Bridge, and ZelgaDissan did this during our intermission, and I have missed where it is again. Looks like ZelgaDissan not willing to sequence break the right-hand side, just did Tayo Room.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was one the cave bottom. That's right. So I was like, WallKicks is definitely chasing glove lock locations now since he ended up picking those up.
Yeah. And while he's at it, boots lock locations.
And boots lock location, yeah. So this is a really nice combination of gloves plus mirror.
Yeah, getting the gloves and the boots in not too temporarily separated time is nice from a. You can tick off the not quite as isolated 2 lists of isolated checks at the same time. Let's assemble that sentence that way.
Right, and I guess these are actually new checks for both our runners on WallKicks aside. So I don't think Zelda's been to North Ark World yet.
No, he was there. That was where he got his green potion.
Okay, got it. Okay, maybe that was during the intermission.
Yeah. The only reason I know that is that he's got a door tracker up and he's ticked off that door. So, and here's our green pendant information, which I assume that ZelgaDissan also has. No, this is King's Tune.
Yeah, so no boots, right? So you can't end up getting hands. Of course, with all the equipment basically necessary to clear swamp, combined on both our runner sides, it's supposed to be better. Hey, we picked up a fire shield. With time to go back to the right side of GT.
Another crystal! Hooray! Another crystal.
Yeah, no, Zelda's making steady progress, right? I don't think we ended up finding maps to Ice Palace or Skull Woods, but very fortunate, of course, for both of them to be crystals.
Yeah, it's 70% times 2/3. Feels like more than 50% for that to be true.
It may be just observational bias, right? It always just seems like the first 2 or 3 dungeons you clear are pendants.
So he only has He doesn't. He can't clear Turtle Rock yet, but he can go into the front and get some items. Something we can do with Arcane of Samaria.
Yeah, we can get a couple. So we can't get the right side because it's specifically Fire Rod block, not Fire Rocks. But at least on WallKicks' side, this is really good news for him because he's going to get his Fighter Sword very, very shortly, which actually that means that he can then go into Ice Palace and get all the rest of the stuff that Zelda basically has.
Yeah.
And we do know that eventually we are going to have to find that Fire Rod, but we know that Trinex or Turtle Rock is a crystal, so we have to complete that, which means that we're going to need both rods today.
Yeah. And then I think, yeah, Zelgadissan looks like he's going back in and is going to go the other way through here. We're
going to put that book to good use on WallKicks' side.
And now that we've gotten a bunch of crystals on Zelga's side,
yeah.
WallKicks is hoping this is something good. Nope.
No, but arguably that's probably the most use that we've gotten out of the book yet. You know, because Desert Main was we could access it through Mire in the Mirror, and I don't think we saw anything good on tablet. So,
did either of them read Ether Tablet yet?
I know that. So I remember WallKicks reading it, but I don't remember what it was. This was also during our time of questionable technical difficulties.
By the way, this is some of the most use I've seen of Paradox Cave as a connector in a long time. It is really quite convenient. Like it's easy to get to, and it's also a pretty fast connector. But it's always fun to see people run through
especially
these.
with a boots and a sword. We just dash. And, this is much nicer than early on in the scene when they were literally on 3 hard screen mail trying to get through those mini moments through like iframes, basically.
I mean, anytime you get to do Chain Chomp Room and the Chain Chomp bites you in the face and you're fine, it's luxury. So WallKicks, instead of following the sword, quote-unquote, following the sword into Ice Palace, is going to Hera instead, which you can also full clear.
Yeah, he has a lamp, he has a small key, he has the big key. This is a completely clearable crystal dungeon. We know it's a dungeon, we don't think we know it's a crystal or pendant yet. Yeah, that was a pretty close cave activation, so hopefully Zelda's gonna have just enough magic for it.
That felt needlessly cute.
So the cave actually, contrary to Cane of Burna, has a slightly delayed activation, so Zelda is definitely very, very close to that last half of heart going out.
Yeah. Like, I know you want to save your magic meter.
That was actually pretty questionable, based on his health and magic. I'm very happy that he was able to make it all the way through this fight.
Alright, so Chat has chatted amongst themselves and decided that there was a small key to Skull Woods on each tablet. We will not be going back and using our magic to get that today.
Big Moldorm, just like his little mini cohorts, decided to not cooperate as much for WallKicks. So definitely willing to pull out this case so he doesn't get knocked out. Moldorm, stand still, man.
Trying to get a Fighter Sword hit on Hyperspeed Moldorm kind of sucks. So, oh hey, there's the Castle Tower small key.
We have a second Castle Tower small key. How exciting! Hi, Mitz! Locked by the Desert Palace small key. Interesting. So that could be another avenue then open up for Zelda. He's gonna potentially chase Mitzlock locations.
Yeah, that Desert Palace small key was somewhere terrible, wasn't it? Somewhere that WallKicks couldn't have gotten to, I guess. I asked my commentator that keeps better notes than me.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to remember where he ended up getting that Desert Palace small key, and I cannot remember. Tofile, though, is more than top things for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, at least for Zelda, he hasn't been over to the Mystery Mine area, so the flute plus mids is actually could be something that is going to be pretty nice, or it's going to be at least an added incentive for him to go over there.
I mean, I would expect him to do that basically the first time he's out of other things, like isn't in the middle of something. So presumably after this shopping mall check, so that it doesn't lead him away somewhere else. That's good. All right, WallKicks has sat through a loading screen.
At least it was really energetic music. I mean, this Steel Samurai is always a bigger track to listen to. I'm sure the 300 rupees at this point, at least for WallKicks, is not going to be worth his time. Maybe Zelda,
Nope.
you know, since Zelda at least has spent. Oh no, never mind. He has 400 rupees. he's not going to miss anything.
And he just bought a blue potion, so we're well into the part of into the inflationary period of Crosskeys. So this I would suspect is the Meyer check for Zelda-san. Or are we going to do Hera?
I think this is
Or are
also
we gonna do Hera?
this is going to be another another crystal. I don't think Zelda knows it yet, but it is going to be another joke player. So maybe he will end up picking up those 300 rupees from the basement as well.
It feels to me, just weakly, that Zelda-san is more likely to leave that behind. He feels like more of a skipper to me than WallKicks by a little bit.
I guess as WallKicks is doing the back of his
or
cave,
he can just make me live right now.
Yeah, I was actually as WallKicks is doing the back of the cave, have either runner actually gone back to the front of the cave?
It can. They need the sewers key.
Yeah, well, right, because I remember Zelda stealing the key, right, and going to the back of the cave and getting 3 junk items. Is WallKicks potentially going to actually go to the front?
Might. We'll see. So he hasn't yet made the choice. We'll see after the second guard room if he's going to choose 1 or 3 things. Zelda-san also getting some inflation.
Yeah, and looks like we might be able to see Zelda's boostless bomb Herapot set up.
That's not it. Try again.
Good thing we went to the capacity fairy to get a couple extra bombs.
That
really nicely done.
was really good.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't even need to buffer anything. He's just place a couple bombs and just dive right in.
I mean, he did the first time. I think he accidentally placed an extra bomb and was like, "Never mind. Try this again." Is he just gonna YOLO skip the big chest?
According to our tracker, he does not have the big key. What was the big key, Hera?
No, you're right. You are absolutely correct. So he's deliberately skipping the big chest. That makes me a little bit more surprised that he's making this Hera.
I'm sure leaving from his perspective, leaving something and Hera big chest has never been him.
Yeah.
So.
Sure, but
WallKicks. Yeah, I like this medallion usage. He's like, I got a sword, I got a medallion, I'm gonna use it.
Zelda-san can now beat Agawan. Zelda-san is not at all interested in beating Agawan.
Yeah, that second item and also in Castle Tower is also not worth it. Yeah, but the next piece, we have to, at least for WallKicks, he needs to get his sprite over to Ice Palace as soon as he possibly can, because that is where Zelda found pretty much all of the rest of the major progression items. So we found Hammer in Pingator Room, found Hookshot later, found Flute on Cold Stare. Yeah, pretty much everything. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
We have a Screen Runner High Five.
Must have that CSR emote. Show that you're supporting the channel something, question mark. Prez likes your money. Hey, it's the back of desert.
It is the back of deserts, and WallKicks actually does have it's like Desert Palace Big Key. So we are moving forward, and we have an ice rod to our name.
So
I would
ice rod strats or bow strats?
So, okay, I would be so ecstatic if WallKicks decided to pull out the bow and do bow Lambo. However, given that he actually only has 7 arrows to his name, and not actually sure how well practiced he is at bow Lambo, my guess is he's probably more familiar with the ice rod.
I mean, if it goes right, you only need 6 arrows, and when it goes wrong, you then have time to swap your ice rod. Yeah.
I might actually be a combination at this point, right? Because it looks like actually we probably will have enough shots for, what, 4 ice rod hits? WallKicks is, looks like, yeah, he's really made those ice rod shots count.
Oh. So once Lambo gets going, trying to hit the bow with the alarmingly long wind-up animation is obnoxious. So apparently we're just doing...
Yeah, WallKicks is doing a really nice job efficiently clearing out these landmines. Wow. Given his set of equipment and like how much resources he has, it's a really nice job. Yeah, and of course, so NMG runners are certainly much more practiced at bow Lambo, and of course they, especially with the boost, they have a nice setup for the first cycle. But yeah, the first cycle is technically quote-unquote predictable. It's like one of like 24 or something, like different layouts. So yeah, you could at least react to that, but everything after that is just garbage.
In some sense, he would have had, if he's super practiced, whatever. I think that the bow gave him a better chance of a 1 cycle, but it's not at all free. All right. Speaking of places to go,
speaking of free places to go, absolutely.
Misery Meyer, he's got small keys. He's got a big key. He's got a fire source. He can get almost everything out of here. Can't get the boss, but...
Oh yeah, and so we do see that Zelda does have the Kena Samaria. The Kena Samaria is the Stalfo's room, which is shot locked, of course, which was in GT. Now, of course, WallKicks does have the boots. If he decides to, if he had come back to GT, he could have certainly, probably fairly easily for him, sequence broken out, Selfless room, but we're here in Meyer, so we are most likely just going to complete out the front.
Yeah,
but compared, of course, to Zelda, who is in here with the Kena Samaria, presumably Zelda's going to go all the way to the end.
Zelda getting owned by a Beamos, which doesn't matter at all because he got Blue Mail and a billion hearts, but was nevertheless funny to watch. The fact that the BMOs stop turning when they shoot you, and you're like, dang it, I wanted to walk this way, and it just shoots you again, is never stops being funny.
Now, of course, right, with our current runners, a set of equipment, Vitrios is not going to be a free fight. We're still on Fighter Sword. We do have a bow, which is certainly going to be very nice.
And we have more than 34 arrows.
Yes, that is correct. So we are going to be able to make a good amount of damage on Vitrios, but still not going to be a probably more familiar fight if you had maybe something like Tempered Sword.
Alright, so WallKicks shows us what ZelgaDissan is working on is a kind of tedious lamp lighting mission for a completely tedious cutscene for a red ring. Oh well. Wally setting up the rail clip. Doesn't quite get it. There we go.
Yeah, that's going to be a shortcut that Zelda unfortunately is not going to be able to take because he doesn't have boots. But at least Zelda is one step closer to the boost, right? Because he did end up fighting the dam and clearing it, so he just has to make his way over back to the second spot.
And he'll do that. It's now
Eventually.
the highest thing on his to-do list that isn't running around the mire area. The fact that he happened to hit Misery Mire Dungeon while doing that is... I think it's still faster for him to do all this and then fly over and check the boots than to come back. Even if he had been told that the boots were at the sunken treasure. So it's just, slightly unfortunate sequencing.
Yeah, but actually with Zelda ended up picking up the dam, so he now has flippers, he has hookshot, he has flooded the room within Swamp Palace, he has both sets of keys. That actually might be his next step. Right, he doesn't have the knowledge that Swamp is a pendant from WallKicks' side.
Yeah,
but from his perspective, right, this is a fully clearable dungeon, and he got all 5 or 6 items basically needed. Oh no! Oh no! I guess we need the mirror shield today, unfortunately.
That is the most obnoxious place to fall off in the entire game, because you have to make this
especially
tedious.
Boots, right? You have to walk all the way back here. It's just really sad. WallKicks, though, using his last bit of magic in order to open up his insurance.
At least he didn't walk up to it with not quite enough.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Hyrule Castle that he knew was here. So I believe this is literally him opening this up as a connector. Because he got spat. WallKicks is the one that got spat out there earlier. So zelgadissan forgetting to pick up the pot to get the key to open the door. The key under the doormat.
Yeah, WallKicks, though, he has so much money, he decided to buy a blue potion, mainly basically refill his health. His magic, and then bought another blue potion to that.
One for here and one to go.
Alright, we're back in GT, and looks like we're climbing. Okay, not even the basement stuff. Interesting.
This is the thing that is in logic for WallKicks. So I like it. Right?
Yeah, no, that is certainly true. He does not have the hookshot. And I think the upper GT is just actually, I think, blocked by, I want to say one small GT key, maybe, and definitely the big key.
Depends how far you go. There's a couple of doors up here. But a bunch of it isn't blocked by any. So,
Oh, but WallKicks is coming up here without the hookshot. Are you familiar with how familiar he is with Molder and Bounce? Or
I think he can do Molder and Bounce. But no promises. I think he's certainly going to.
We will wait with bated breath. Alright, so meanwhile though, Zelda finally made his way over to Vitreous. I mean, this capacity fairy upgrade purchase that he made an hour ago is, it's just paying dividends at this point.
It's paying 5 more shots at Vitreous. Or 10 more. 5 more.
Yeah, well, I think he's trying to be conscious of making sure that he has 8 more arrows left for the big eye, and looks like he actually just doesn't have enough. He is doing a really nice job with his bow.
Oh, that's 2. He got to miss once without running out of arrows.
Yeah, he has to do spins here. Fighter sword slashes don't do anything on the small eye.
Push, 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 push. 7, 8.
Nice job, Zelda. Really nice. This is basically like a bow Vitreous fight at this point.
And gets the green pendant and is like, well, dang. Well, at least I get a thing at some point.
Is it a blue pendant?
A blue pendant. Even worse.
It just
apparently
looks green because the rest of the room is green.
I also have anti-ice rain nighttime mode turned on that makes the blues and the greens look a bit similar.
Actually, speaking of, so what did we end up getting in Mire? We got a boomerang. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, well that was exciting. Oh no! So Zelda used all of his ammunition basically for Vitrias. Well, okay, I mean, he does have the Ice Rod. I'm sure he's very familiar with how to use it, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see any bow ammo on Zelda's side today.
Yeah, frankly, I'm more excited by Ice Rod Landmo because
you don't get to see it often, right?
To see it, yeah, and the acceleration of the Ice Rod particle is wonky enough that a lot of runners are actually kind of bad at it, comparatively.
The timing is certainly different than the Fire Rod for sure. Yeah, and also another thing about doing the GT climb without doing the basement, WallKicks does not have Akita Samaria, so no satisfying whiz ropes today. And for somehow, these runners are still on Thunderstorm at 1 hour and 30.
So Zelda goes and picks up the first pot with arrows under it, just in case he managed to bury this magic meter and not kill him.
Holy cow. I mean, he landed in, I think, all but one of his shots. Oh, and man. Nice job, Zelda, with that Ice Rod.
It's 6 hits to kill Landmo. You get 8 with a full meter, so he missed twice.
I mean, it was almost in one cycle, right? So
yeah, I mean, that certainly went way better than WallKicks' version of that fight. Remembering to turn up with a full magic meter was a good start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so WallKicks there temporarily pausing to make sure that he doesn't respawn as Upper GT after he's worked so hard to come up here. Hey, Zelda finally picking up his boots at hour 35 mark. It's like, yeah, these could have been useful.
Right. A map? We're not excited about a map. Heart piece, we're not excited about.
Alright, so we have one more chest here that WallKicks can get to. No powder, so we're gonna have to get this the hard way. We found our third shield, and WallKicks is not moving forward.
No Moldorm bounce today.
No Moldorm bounce today, so that means no validation chest and no well, which is 5 more items behind Moldorm's, or Ag 2 in this case.
Yikes.
Oh, did we? This straight?
Is that just... We will get you information from racetime.gg as soon as we have it. We're not sure if Wally's stream died or he had it up. Okay. News from Racetime. WallKicks has had enough. So this race might be over. Zelda still has to finish by tournament rules. I actually don't know what the deal is on that.
Yeah, I assume that Zelda still has to finish, because if he doesn't finish, it just might be like a double forfeit.
Okay.
So that is that means that is very unfortunate on WallKicks' side. So certainly get your GGs out in chat for WallKicks for at least making it this far. Meanwhile, though, we are going to watch Zelgadissan finish the rest of the season.
And that pause from Zelgadissan was presumably him reading Racetime and being like, "What? All right." Here's WallKicks in chat. Everything, the answer to all of your problems is Ice Palace.
Ice Palace, the first chest in Pengator Room had the hammer, and then Zelda was able to move forward. Hookshot was somewhere else in Ice Palace as well, and Coldster had the flute.
And then that large collection of stuff led to
and Cadence, yeah, so Cadence Mario was in Staphos Room and GTP Basement. So at this point, at least on Zelda's side, we are still looking for that Fire Rod, still 100% required because we have Trinex as a boss. And other than that, I think we're still looking for Eastern Palace Big Key, which apparently is always a big key that we seem to be hoping to search for.
Yeah, it doesn't block very many logical locations, and so the logic is happy to bury it quite often.
Yeah, so that's why most likely Zelda is here in Swamp Palace, probably one of his arguably most item-dense locations that he still has left.
Yeah, the most unfortunate thing that happened to you, WallKicks, other than, Ice Palace being the answer, is that you chose not to check the back of Skull Woods, and then it turns out that despite being with having the front and the back, the drop down got you out, and zelgadissan did that, and it was great.
Very reasonable choice here for Zelda to full clear Swamp Palace while he's here the first time. So that means we're going to do left side first before heading out to the back. And given this choice, going over here before I actually cut this room is actually just slightly more efficient. You can see a nice diver down setup here on Zelda's side.
Yeah, I think knowing that this is now just to complete the seed free run, zelgadissan's not going to make, hyper aggressive choices. Just do things that are in front of you and not think too hard.
Well, yeah, we're still looking for a second sword. At this point, WallKicks, unfortunately, you had not found a sword either on your side, so the only one we really had, apparently, is just that one that was kind of buried in Skull Woods.
Yeah, if we get to sword for go mode, I'm going to laugh. But
yeah, that would be percent. But, both Zelda and WallKicks, though, have shown amazing prowess, right, for actually just basically using bombs and arrows, pretty much for this entire scene. Hey, left side swamp paying off for Zelda. This is why he came over here, right? Finally picks up the second sword, now in 40.
I mean...
And powder.
Yeah. Sword number 2 is a lot better than sword number 1.
Now, is it too much to... Is it being too greedy if we can hopefully hope for a third sword?
I mean...
No. So they don't have to do, at this point, Master Sword Silverless Ganon?
With nothing on the line, I kind of like watching Zelda show off and do the hard strats. So yeah, I'm gonna cheer for Master Sword Solo.
Okay. Oh man, 2 swords in swamp. That is.
All my dreams were destroyed.
That was a very short-lived hope actually for Master Sword Silverless. Wow.
I think I got to finish saying Silverless before it was wrong.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so we're basically back to the NMG Ganon at this point. I mean, it's definitely a good thing that Zelda came in here, right? Pendant Swamp Palace always seems to be paying off pretty well.
I mean, it's Crosskeys. You're eventually gonna have to do almost everything.
Yeah, Path Magic. Wow. So basically everything was just like clustered. So Ice Palace had pretty much all of our major remaining progression items after that first sword, and then if you go to Swamp Palace, it has basically every like nice upgrade and necessity and safety.
I mean, I don't know. We haven't come up with the 4th sword yet, obviously.
That is true. Right, no 4th sword, no silvers.
This swamp tip might be required, or required-ish, to get our Master Sword to beat Ganon, and or magic Lava Tablet or something.
Yeah, no, Zelda, though, really practicing his quick kill Argus, a really impressive start. Looks like actually maybe Argus was charging him a little bit too fast, because it does actually take some luck, but really nice execution.
Here's the key that gets Zelda to Zelda's cell.
Would you go back at this point for that one chest?
Nope.
It seems pretty far at this point.
Nope.
And I think also we saw some WallKicks side that it's not going to be useful.
Yeah, but it's now on zelgadissan's mind, which kind of sucks. This, I think, is King's tool.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try and chase those flipper checks.
That's the green pendant check.
Oh, that's right.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we apparently weren't gonna get any swords if we never set foot in Swamp Palace. That is amazing. You were saying something about the Swamp Dip potentially being required?
Yep.
Ish.
That's logically required swamp.
That is amazing. Yeah.
For swords.
All 3 swords buried in Swamp Palace. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if WallKicks has had enough of this nonsense and has bailed on chat, but I'm sorry, mate. This is unfortunate. Or I guess let me rephrase that. This is a seed that can go quite badly because the items are right. If the items are sort of more spread out, you're going to come across something, and it'll lead you to something. Whereas if they're all in a few places, your choices might just be completely useless, and the other player's choices might pay off, and then you get the feels bad moment.
Yeah, and because we're all the items were kind of clustered out of the seed. Yeah, so if you kind of miss one cluster, you definitely don't feel good. You maybe eventually stumble upon it, or maybe you just never do.
Well, and we haven't seen any hide nor hair, neither hide nor hair of the fire rod. So the first sword, which turns on our Bombos Medallion.
Yeah, 100% required. Yeah. So in terms of what we still potentially need for Go mode, so we still need the fire rod for sure. We are still looking for a couple big keys. So Eastern big key, we haven't seen. Looks like actually we don't have a Thief's Town big key, which we also do need. Is that it?
Sorry, I'm busy ogling zelgadissan doing Top of Escape. Thief's Town big key, Eastern big key, fire rod.
And fire rod.
And in principle, some keys that we don't actually need.
Yeah, and I think in terms of just our coverage from both runners' sides, we did see WallKicks do most of the climb. Unfortunately, he did stop just short of Molten Tooth because, unfortunately, no hook shot. I don't think there was anything up front, though, but we are going to be able to see what Validation Chest is, and as well as the well. WallKicks. Starting off with the Ice Rod, you know, the Gold Sword at this point is pretty much just as good. And of course, WallKicks having that half magic and Arcana Samara that you end up picking up from the basement. Gonna at least give us a more traditional look at how to clear out these Berserk runes.
Yeah, I kind of like watching the runners do those rooms with non-Samaria weapons, just because some of them do a shockingly good job of it, and others are like, I don't know how to do that Arcana Samaria. And so it's a way for the really practiced people to show off, and or for me to feel better about myself because they don't have to practice on everything.
Zelda is certainly actually very adept at doing Wizard's runes with just the bow. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's very pretty execution. Alright, also making sure that he does wait for that jingle, because we don't have a fire rod, so timing is just going to be slightly different. Okay, so we're gonna see a map to at least a place that we still need a big key for, but we already of course know that it's gonna be crystal.
Yeah, we are no longer excited about maps. And at some point here we get to find out if Wally could have saved his climb attempt with Moldorm Bounce.
Okay, coming up, new checks on Zelda side. We have
Vanilla
20 rupees. How exciting! Yeah, of course, we did know that WallKicks ended up picking up Zelda ended up picking up the Key to GT significantly later than when he ended up doing the GT basement. So if there is something in the big chest, which we never got to really see on WallKicks' side, that item will definitely be left alone for quite some time.
It's a really nice
That was an amazingly nice Agatu fight on Zelda Salad. Wow. Must be that gold sword, man. He just feels so much better with 3 swords found in Swamp.
Yeah, and a riot shield to hide your eyes behind. That is some prepared for court attorney sprite. There's the answer.
A required climb for the seeds. So we found at least our item build mode. So we just need a couple big keys now.
So that does mean that the sword in Swamp for the bomb to turn on Bombos and Bombos medallion to do to go into Ice Palace with fighter sword, Bombos, no hook, no hammer, no one glove, was hard required. We didn't have to go all the way through it with low percent. We didn't have to be Cold Stare on that trip. We had a connector to the mire. We could have, if we were not zelgadissan, we could go back with real equipment. But certainly we had to make the choice to go into Ice Palace with fighter sword for Bombos.
Alright, so at this point, when you're Zelda, where else would you go to search for your remaining big keys? I think Turtle Rock does have a couple items left at the opening, because we do have the fire rocks. We get the fire lock side.
We have mitts, so there's a few outstanding entrances here and there, but I don't think there's any particularly good item caves left. This is the part of Turtle Rock, I think. Bottom of Turtle Rock. Some part of Turtle Rock. Just kill Molder. Or kill Trinex.
Kill Trinex, yeah. So unfortunately, we still need 2 keys in order to finish the seed.
But this warps us. This is probably the most efficient way to get to the front of Turtle Rock. And it gets us our crystal while we're here. Zelda went into pod with no keys. He got one while he was there, and he did the bow set.
Yeah, he went in like the first 5 minutes, I want to say. So,
yeah, and he hasn't been back.
That's
been in like an hour and 45 minutes since the last time he was.
I think we saw on WallKicks side that there wasn't really anything good in pod, but yeah, at least from Zelda's perspective, that is a very item-based location.
So, in a piece of computers are dumb, I just got a resync on the stream with one runner play. So, so I've now watched zelgadissan kill Trinex twice.
So double the price?
Unfortunately not. That would make getting to 7 crystals much easier.
Quick swap backdoor strats on Zelda's side. That has really nice execution. Zelda's execution especially has been a very, very, very solid this entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think certainly though he's hoping that he's just gonna be able to find one of those big keys, especially for Eastern or Thieves Town, and though he just go clear the other dungeon, and then the other big key will just be there on his path. It's really nice efficient routing on Zelda's side. So go beat the boss, see what he has. If he doesn't have anything, you are warped right to the beginning where there are more items waiting for you to be had.
Yeah, it's a trick that actually comes up in Crosskeys quite often, I think, using the Trinex kill, especially if you have the Fire Rod was late, right? Using the Trinex kill as the way to get to the front of Turtle Rock is very often useful. And actually, it can be useful just to get you to a different part of the overworld in Go Motor Zone as well.
Alright, Fire Luxide having nothing of value. Oh, he hasn't even been to the front at all. Okay, so this is gonna be completely sending checks for us.
With zelgadissan the only runner remaining, I figured that was an optimal time to go get a new beverage.
Yep, Zelda unfortunately tried to dash us a little farther than he probably intended to go. He remembers that there was chicken house here, though this is one item. I think WallKicks was already over here, so we know that this is nothing.
Yeah, zelgadissan was here as a bunny. He did a slightly unfortunate amount of bunny walking earlier, given that the Moon Pearl was in the second house in Kakariko. But, you know, oops. And this Dark Death Mountain respawn gets him straight to pod.
Yeah, and right. I mean, he has like 10 or so items probably-ish left to check because he came here, as you said, with no keys. So he got like 3 checks maybe early because he mimic clipped, found a small key, and then was able to do a little bit more. But yeah, other than that, he has the whole entire back room, including getting another pod small key in the rupee basement.
Which will make him feel better about making this check, I think.
Okay, very understandable. He's gonna save scum this, but I mean, he doesn't know there's another small key in the back.
And this is immediately adjacent to a 7 good point. I will admit, for a hot second there, I was worried we lost Zelga's stream and we were going to have to just talk to a black screen for a while.
that would be awful.
I like that play. That's actually well played by zelgadissan. As it happens, it will be unnecessary, but I like it.
This is quite the contrast, right? Hour 55 in, like basically what 100, you know, like almost 2 hours after, or since he came into pod before when he was on 3 hard screen mail, and almost next to nothing to his name, and now he has 4 swords, mirror shield, 16 hearts, blue mail, half magic, lamp.
Yeah, these rooms that would have been hard an hour and 50 minutes ago are so hard anymore. Hey, we even get to see what happens in the dark basement. It's like a slightly illuminated basement.
Yeah, Zelda ended up doing actually a lot of dark rooms early on, and certainly very well, even though we couldn't see them because he actually just delayed his trip to Kakariko and did not end up buying his lamp off of Bottle Vendor.
Yeah, I forgot that Lamp and Pearl were both in Kakariko, just sitting there. As zelgadissan was doing like bunny shenanigans and so on with the like maybe the easiest Moon Pearl I've seen in Crosskeys.
Yeah, it was literally walk into Ice Rock Cave and go pick up your Pearl. When did WallKicks get it? Like 7 minutes or something like that?
Yeah. He did Houlihan, he started at the Sank, he walked straight there. zelgadissan got cute and went up to the mountain completely in the dark on the way to Kakariko the first time, and then was on the mountain and got to do mountain things for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes. Thank you, Zelda, for reminding us that that was where the Tower of Harabiki was. I'm sure he's more than happy to see that Vicky.
He's not more than happy to see.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's like, I sat through Hera basement. I did Hera pot all the way up. I don't want to go back to Hera for that last time.
Yeah, as tilted as WallKicks is, he was really efficiently doing things. As it happens, they were the wrong things. And as it happens, the right things were excitingly obtuse. And so I have a lot of sympathy for tilting off after climbing GT with the inability to complete it. I certainly would have thrown a controller if I was in Wally's positions. which is another reason that I'm not in the tournament. I'm sitting in this comfy chair and commentating. So.
Zelda, we're gonna have to take away the boots from you if you can't learn how to control yourself here. Yeah, so I think this is also gonna be a new check.
Maybe he's getting all the bonks out of the boots that when.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he didn't pick the boots up for like an hour 40 or something like that. I mean, it's been quite a while since he only has the boots for only almost 20 minutes. Now, I don't think. Okay, right. So according to our trackers, once again, we do not have the book on Zelda's side, so he has not actually checked pedestal. So he doesn't actually know if, in this case, getting all three pendants is going to work this time. There's certainly going to be an item on Helmasaur, but he might end up blindfolding that at this point.
I mean, I think he'll do it for the memes if he's got all the pendants. Like
he does, yeah, right. Actually, and there's there's the back of Skullwood's entrance that he can now access with the fire rod. Nothing on Helmasaur, and Zelda picks up his final pendant. He might be going back over to Skullwoods at this point.
And that butter sword. These guys ran around for flipping ages before they found a sword. And then not quite as flipping long before they found the other three swords.
Yeah, that's right. It was how soon? So we found Master Sword on the left side of Swan, and then Zelda found, and then we found Temper Sword in Compass Room. And then we found the Master Sword, or the Gold Sword, on the Green Pendant Turn-in from Argus.
Yeah. The very enhanced sword. I don't even know what the butter sword officially is called.
I think it's just the gold sword. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's.
Oh right, Zelda has actually not done right side GT. He had the lamp earlier, and he chose to not sequence break this side. Oh, these pesky sword beams, man. Zelda, just throw the block over, man. Alright, first try, throwing the block over. Ooh, big key too? Hey, that is a requisite big key that we want. Okay.
And a shovel. You check the shovel before you get to Thieves' Town?
Probably. Hopefully. I mean, go no Thieves' Town, or hopefully Thieves' Town's not going to be any different.
I like this. Zelgadissan is going to go check the big chest.
Yeah, no, this is if he doesn't do it now, he's just not gonna be able to do it, like, ever.
Yeah. But I think that runners would often make the choice to leave it behind forever. Alright, let's see. Ooh, nice bonk.
Yeah, I certainly do enjoy the extra content here on Zelda's side. Right? We came here without boots, without much equipment. He showed us actually do some quite cool things without that, and now we're back here with some better equipment, and we get some more traditional clears and passages. Alright, nothing in the big chest, so no loss if he decided to skip that forever. Alright, this is potentially our pedestal visit after the entrance into Skullwoods. Potentially not, never mind.
No, we're not going that way. Good anticipatory announcing. Bad running. I think it's my verdict.
That's right, it's your fault, Zelda.
It was like excellent foreshadowing, etc. And then the problem with live sports, even if they're esports, is that sometimes it doesn't go the way the author intended.
Oh, right. My memory, apparently it was just like, Zelda just picked up the big TV stuff. Why would he go and pull a blindfold head and check a random entrance when there is a not fully clearable, but at least another crystal pickup that's available. No small key, so you can't get the big chest, but at this point, we're just going to have to hope that the Eastern Big Key is not there.
I mean, the way this seed is going, the Thieves' Town Big Key is just going to be in here.
The Eastern Palace one.
No, the Thieves' Town Small Key.
Oh, Small Key. Yes. Yeah, we found 2 small pod keys in pod. We found 3 swords in Swamp. Why not have this Thieves' Town Small Key?
We found 3 important items at Ice Palace.
Yeah.
Having done it low percent. So.
Yeah. It was nice cape, quick swap usage on Zelda's side. That it didn't quite. It looks like he got the initial lineup, but that also the RNG patterns for the enemies just did not make his life easy. So I'm just like, no, forget this. I'm just gonna get through this as fast as I can.
I feel like runners' usage and comfort with quick swap this year compared to last year is way better. I think because it's not just an entrance rando thing anymore. People are using quick swap all the time.
Yeah.
Getting in the habit of knowing mentally how many items there are between the things that they want, learning more and more spots where it's worth doing. I think that it's maybe the biggest area of skill increase in the last 12 months.
Yeah, and despite all of the things that Zelda has done, we still actually don't have a full inventory. I guess he never went back to Spec Rock and picked up that book.
Nope. It's in Lake Hylia Island is the entrance that actually can see the book. And yeah, he just hasn't been interested. That's a really isolated entrance.
He does it the mid-snap, for what it's worth. So he could, go back for that one entrance if he wants to. So at least it's not like a hard isolated location. You know, he does have, have a buddy, I guess, Aaron to go run.
Those entrances are on a buddy system, so neither one of them gets left behind.
Zelda with as much as equipment as he could possibly ask for at this point. Taking down blind.
That was not an optimal blind fight.
We don't need a script, especially when blind drops the red mail. Wow. Okay,
yeah,
so we're pretty much invincible at this point. Like nothing can kill us.
We can go and get like bacon hugs.
Yeah, we're not afraid of anything. We don't need a social distance now.
WallKicks had an unfortunate sequence of events that caused him not to want to continue playing. Having, I think, correctly concluded that he was sufficiently far behind that he was not going to win, and also that he was not having fun, and so is no longer with us.
Very useful flute, or convenient flute for that matter, to be able to turn into smiths.
The idea of running through this part of the map with the smiths in tow, it made my brain short circuit for a minute. Like, that's not something that's supposed to go here.
Small key too? I was going to be kind of sad if that was a small key of Thieves Town.
It would have been really unfortunate if that was the small key to Thieves Town. Did Zelda? No, he fluted straight out. Didn't do the shovel spot yet.
You are correct. He has not visited the dig spot yet. That is something that he can chase.
Tick marks for the shovel yet? We do. All right. I shouldn't have had to ask that. We have awesome tracking solutions. Zelgadissan not excited about books.
Does not want that book, apparently. He for sure saw it on Spec Rock when he visited. Oh, hey. Hi, Silvers. Okay, that was a really productive mids. Doesn't seem like they're required, of course, but Silver's gonna make your Ganon fight go that much better.
Yep.
And we, of course, how nice that we have Armos as our last crystal boss that we need to go fight, so it's just slightly faster. Oh, okay, so he just wanted to check this entrance, I guess, and maybe he wants to follow its connector. This certainly doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I anticipated that was what was going to happen. Because I believe this connector goes somewhere halfway useful. Maybe not 100% useful, but getting back up here one more time quickly is good remembering. Or I think actually, I take back that compliment, sir. That apparently was, I forget where this goes. Let's check. Let's check again.
So this is going to be book checks now for Zelda. So we are going to be able to find out. I think we established it was going to be a small key to the skull was on Eco Tavern.
Mm-hmm. The fact that zelgadissan is now reduced to single item, like this is a full-on ice rod hunt after
Full
everything
on
else.
Eastern Palace big key hunt. Yep. I mean, but it's surprising that we still haven't actually had. You know, our inventory isn't full, right? We don't have the quick medallion. We don't end up having. One other thing that we don't have actually. Like, where are the other bottles too?
Hanging out with the Eastern Palace Big Key.
Yeah, I guess.
So we saw Mini Moldorm Cave, we saw Paradox Cave, we saw Blindsight, we saw Sahas. We've seen all the dungeons.
Have we seen both waterfall fairy locations?
I
want to say we saw one. I guess I don't remember if we saw the other.
I agree with that. We certainly saw the brown one. Here's my I only play entrance rendo. Like there's two fairies. I don't know which one's which. There's not a ton of item density out there in his remaining terrible entrances.
Yeah. I guess from his perspective, he also has Hera Big Key or a Hera Big Chest, which he's not going to be thrilled to go back for.
Even now, he's not excited to go check Skullwoods 3.
Yeah, this might be a purple chest turn on though. With hammer pegs? Has he done hammer pegs yet? He hasn't checked next level.
He has not checked hammer pegs. Another shop.
Yep, hammer pegs is not interesting for us today.
That is a terrible location for a shop. You know.
Considering, no, it's Mistlock, so who the heck's gonna be even go over here? Right.
It's Mistlock, and the guy has to run around your yard for 5 minutes, you know, doing all your yard work. Another small key that.
Small key. Okay, it's unlocked. These, these small keys. You're just really hoping that the small key doesn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is picking a purple chest for sure. We potentially could make a detour over to the dig spot.
Yeah, and did we pick up Bombo's tablet on our last trip over there? The answer is no, right?
Not. No, we just got the book, like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago or something like that, so no opportunity. So this is actually pretty nice overworld riding from Zelda, for sure.
Did we not get the book before we turned into Smiths? Which was I guess. But he chose to flute with the Smiths, and I was walking with the purple chest. Feels like the wrong way around.
Well, I mean, he wants to check Bombo's tablet?
Yeah. But if you're going to make 2 trips from basically the same spot to the same other spot, I feel like doing the one with the Smith, actually taking the Smiths and checking the intermediate place, and then fluting with the purple chest is faster. That's just me nitpicking because I haven't done anything better to talk about.
Zelda did decide to leave the purple chest behind so he can go a little bit faster. So long as he, I guess, mirrors right in front of the lockpick. The purple chest will just magically appear with him. Doesn't have to drag the purple chest around. Hey.
Go mode.
That is our final key that we need for the seed.
So, I've gotten in the habit of running over-unders on final item completion this tournament. So for the winner, who's zelgadissan, over-under number for the completion rate, please clear mouse.
I have to actually put out a number?
You have to pick the number. We'll run a prediction in chat. And if the bets come out roughly even, you did a good job.
How about 185?
You have to pick a number that's not an integer.
That's what?
That's not an integer. So that we don't have the possibility of the number being exactly what you chose.
185.7.
Okay, excellent. We'll let that run for a few moments while...
I have my own thoughts about the seat. Actually, for my own prediction of over and under.
There will be a poll as soon as someone with the power of mod runs the poll, which is either Tom in chat or Ricky if he's paying attention. What are your thoughts, Clamus?
Well, I know according to the Compass of User Palace that we ended up picking up earlier, that he is at least going to be too short of that 216 completion rate.
We're going to pick up one more.
Oh, that's true. Oh, he did leave the single arrow on Spec Rock. I believe also he left the torch item in GT. That being said, though, we'll let the prediction ready go. Hey, we found another big key.
Oh wow, 5 minutes left to predict. I don't think it's gonna scroll on screen in 5 minutes, but I like the 0.7. 0.5 is traditional, but 0.7 makes me substantially happier. Else you will die!
So, I guess you can ask Zelda whether or not he thought about trying to find the remaining heart pieces for maximum health against Ganon. But red mail, 19 hearts. You took the Firebot hit. No consequences here whatsoever. Zelda is just gonna basically coast through this fight.
So, I already feel like Ganon fights are hardly worth talking about because with this sort of equipment. And then there's only one runner, so like, how?
Well, so for what it's worth, though, optimal Phase 4 Silver Scannon is actually pretty difficult to execute because I think it's okay. I've been told it's technically possible with some RNG on your side in order to get a quadruple, but I get a triple. It's also like it is very difficult.
Yeah, certainly there are more optimal and less optimal Ganon.
Hey, look at that triple! Speaking of, Zelda is just really showing off today. Excellent fight on his side. So, with his health stored up, he's just gonna have to walk through this bridge, and he will claim our first place and winner of today's race. Get your GGs out in chat for Zelda.
WallKicks, if you would like to join, if you're untilted enough to join the interview, feel free. We'd be happy to have you, but if you're not in any mental state to do that, that's cool. And hopefully zelgadissan will join us. Welcome, Zelga.
Welcome, Zelda. GG's.
Hey, GG's. Thank you.
I guess the elephant in the room is you got WallKicks forfeited some time ago. You obviously paused when you noticed it in race time. It doesn't happen very often. How do you feel about that happening, I guess?
It's unfortunate. You never want to win races like that. But at the same time, I understand, like, I'm trying to kind of look over the inventory I just pulled up the stream. I can kind of understand WallKicks was probably in a similar situation that I was. And then I sequence broke Ice Palace, and oh my god, everything was in there. Yeah, it was a really rough start. You never want to win this way, but I understand getting tilted by this 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point I had double dip. I was going to obviously double dip Eastern Desert, Hera, Pod, Swamp. I had done the first two checks. Obviously, I had done Skull Woods, dipped Thieves, dipped Mire, did everything I could in Turtle Rock, and had climbed GT without anything. So that was enough for me. GG,
Yeah.
Zelda. Thanks
We,
for finishing this one out.
We were wondering as you climbed if you knew Moldorm Bounce, WallKicks.
I can in a pinch, but
That might have actually bailed you out because the fire rod was there. But
I
at which point I think you're still far enough behind that you're. But
yeah, I don't see myself coming back even had I Moldorm bounce that one. Like,
yeah,
you know, you pop in a stream after you quit and you see Zelda has Mitt's hammer, hook shot, Samaria fluked, and
all
literally
of
everything else
in one spot. And
Yeah.
Chat brings up the very good point, Zelda, that wasn't a sequence break of Ice Power. In fact, as far as we can tell, that was a hard required move.
Oh, it was a sequence break for me because I didn't have the flippers for Bombos.
Right. Okay.
Which is why I almost skipped it. But honestly, the next thing I would have done was go down and check the stuff in Kakariko, including the potion shop, which would have given me the flippers. At which point I probably just turned right around back around to ice. But still, at the time, it was a sequence break to me, and I'm like, oh my god, how am I getting everything in here?
Well, and at the time you're like, Fighter Sword Bombos, really? That's the thing I have to go in here with? And then 3 swords in Swamp Palace. And that story becomes a little bit clearer.
Yeah, that was really gross. there was so little weaponry available. It was basically just a bow for me for the very longest time. That there were some really gross spots where I was worried about dying in the overworld over and over.
And you made so WallKicks chose to go to Skullwoods much earlier, but because the front was in the back, he chose to bail, which given that I think you were using connectors and like it kind of sucked to get there. WallKicks, I think, made the totally plausible choice to not get stuck in the back of Skullwoods, and so missed that first sword for like another 40 minutes after you got it, Saga. And so that I think was one of the key elements in Tiltfest 2021. But Clearmouse was enjoying both of you guys demonstrating good skill with bombs and arrows for quite some time.
I really appreciated the attempt at both ammo wall kicks. Zelda, I am heavily disappointed that you didn't even try.
Well, when I went in, I didn't even have arrows until I grabbed the pot right outside the room.
I know.
So.
I thought that's why you were going to. I thought that's why you grabbed the arrow pot was where you were going to make an attempt. But no, you had to be too good with the ice rod.
Oh no, that was anticipating that I'm probably climbing GT sometime soon. I need arrows.
Yeah, my 3 NMG lifetime runs really showed off there. Yes, I've only ever run 3 NMG seeds, or 3 NMG. I've run NMG 3 times, ever.
I don't even know if you can claim to have run it with 3 attempts. Like, don't you need like 10 or 15 to like start to know what you're doing?
I mean, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing when I run NMG. That's why it's a 136.
I mean, that's only like 5 minutes behind my PB, so I can't really say anything.
but GG's Zelda. Like, again, sorry that I got tilted off the face of the earth in this seed, and
no, it's totally understandable. Just everything was just so.
You know, it became clear at the hour mark when I still hadn't found a glove, but I had boots. I had boots before Zelda.
Oh god!
You definitely had boots before Zelda.
Oh god, those boots felt terrible. Because as soon as I found the Hyrule Castle entrance in the Mire area, I was like, oh crap, you could get here. And I was like, I see the dam, like, oh crap, you could get here. And then I do all those dungeons in the area, finally get the boots. Like, oh my god, no.
I mean, I got them at the 50-minute mark, but like, you know, you hadn't picked them up by the time I had popped into the stream and to see just how far behind I was, and I was still very, very far behind.
We knew that glove location was going to be unfortunate for you the moment you checked the back of Old Man, and got to the top of the castle that way. And like, well, I guess now the pyramid is way farther down your priority.
Yeah, and like I could have gone in that direction so much earlier because I took the connector through Paradox and got spit out at near pod, and initially took it east to Hera, and then up to the Palace of Darkness entrance, and then just never went back for. Because I kind of wanted like a glove to get me, or something that would help me get to the Dark Witch's hut.
I realize that it feels bad, right? Like that was the thing that actually was correct, but I think that was correct decision making in your seat.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it again. It sucks that everything that I chose was wrong, and that's just how rando goes. You know.
Yeah.
And against a runner like Zelda, you can't really. You need some things to go your way, and that just didn't happen.
I mean, the trick to getting that glove is be stupid and don't go to Kakariko for 20 minutes.
We were
we did notice that as well.
with your aversion to getting the Moon Pearl that was just sitting there. You also did a bunch of dark rooms with a lamp also just sitting there.
It honestly felt really bad, the opening of the route. Like at first I was like, oh sweet, I got a glove, and I was like, oh okay, that glove got me to the mirror because I don't know when I was going to check Sank before that. But then after that, the next 30 minutes, including finding that pearl, that lamp, it just felt really bad, like I was doing everything in the wrong order.
As it happens, the thing you did things in the wrong order, which is to say you went to the pyramid and got the glove, which I think was a not obviously correct decision. Let's go with that routing. As it happens, see previous discussion with WallKicks. The fact that you happen to have done that was super mission critical. So.
Yeah, C could have also gone very differently early on, right? So Zelda, you went to pod 0 keys, Mimic clipped, found 1 key in Bowlock side, and then kept going for 2 more checks or something like that. WallKicks went to Hera early, got his 1 pod key from Basement Cage, with a bow, and then went to pod, and he was, what did you get, 13 or 12 checks or something like that?
Yeah, I got all but the vanilla big key chest and Helmsword King my first dip into pod.
Yeah, and but it just turns out pod was empty, right? But if it was something was there, it would have been it could have been very different. So.
Yeah, I was getting worried about that. The later I kept putting it off, just because I knew it was so dense. But I mean, I don't know. There were so many ways to route this that I don't think. When I saw that Wally had forfeited, I was like, I understand, but at the same time, I was like, man, I felt like I could still have been behind at the time, obviously not knowing everything that had happened with him.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And then congrats to you guys for running the same sprite and doing the same start. You guys were frame for frame for just long enough that Ricky started getting paranoid.
Nice.
Great. That was intended, 100%.
Yeah, totally. I know me and Zelga like to have little side races when we're doing the mystery tournament to see who can actually use that sprite for the tournament. Zelga usually wins.
I mean, I thought it was Edgeworth on screen.
All right, let's talk a little bit tournament context before we let you go. This is week 7. Mm-hmm. There's 1 week left. WallKicks, if you win next week, you get to play the giant race for the last half of the bracket. You gonna be recovered? Gonna be ready for that?
Oh yeah. It's always funny looking to see the matchups and seeing man, some people, I'm not going to name names, but some people might have had slightly easier paths to where you get. My 2 losses are to Lynn and Zelga. That's those are losses I expected. But then there are some people who maybe haven't raced people of their caliber. But I mean, this is Swiss in a nutshell. But yeah, I'll be fine for next week. Moving forward, I'm not sure. I've got a lot of life stuff happening at the moment. But I'm gonna, I'll play it by ear.
Okay. And then ZelgaDissan featured on coverage 7 weeks in a row. Likely to continue if you continue winning. You gonna win next week and next bracket's clean?
I'd sure like to, but kind of like Wally was saying, just when you get deeper in this, you just start playing monster after monster. So whoever I'm going to be playing at 6-1 is going to be a insane race. So I'd love
Yeah.
to say yes, guaranteed, but I'm happy to have at least hit the watermark to get into the playoff race.
I think there's currently 17 players at X and 1 or better, and I think of those 17, 14 of them are people that I would have written down before the tournament as being amongst the people like, the 16-person bracket that I would have penciled in. So, yes, some people have gotten easier paths and so on, but
I mean, this is a loaded tournament, Like, going in, I'm like, okay, if I hit 5 and 3, cool, I'm happy.
Yeah, cutting this a 16-person bracket is, I mean, there's 8 weeks of Swiss is a lot of rounds, but that bracket is going to cut a lot of people that are really good.
But yeah, thanks for putting on the restream again. Sorry for my performance today, and GG's again to Zelda.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome! I made it back in time. All right.
And Ricky is here to tell us we can go home.
Yes. So, real quickly, just gonna go over the ZSR schedule. Thank you to the runners, WallKicks and zelgadissan. Thank you to our commentators, Excalibur and Clearmouse, and thank you to our trackers, Toffile and Scott. Everyone did an amazing job. Thank you. Coming up on ZSR, we have I can't read today. Okay, so we have a Zelda 2 randomizer tournament match between Nirm and BKPKT Patrick. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Actually, that was half an hour ago. Okay, sorry, I'm in a rush, sorry. Okay, 9 p.m. Eastern, so that's in about half an hour. It's a Majora's Mask Randomizer Season 2 Tournament Winners Bracket Round 1 between Eris and Exodus. And at 10 p.m. we have a Zelda 2 Randomizer Tournament match between Dr. J, PhD, and Zarnix42. We're looking for volunteers for those. Hopefully we can get those both on. But we'll see what happens. And with that, we're going to close it off here. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. And have a wonderful rest of your day.